But we was just discussing about business and everything to do with that and stuff like that. So tell us, what got you into e-address?
Well, sorry, to correct you, it's called e-dress. I know,
E-dress,
like, yeah, it's all right, it's all right, it's all right. Do you know, like, what got me into e-dress particularly was because I was looking at property entrepreneurs, right? On Clubhouse especially. And I was hearing how a lot of property entrepreneurs were investing in property, doing rent-to-rents, HMOs, and I thought this was all cool. But I didn't really have the money to invest in property the way that they were doing it. So I had to try and figure out another way that I can. And what I was seeing is I was taking tons of data from Companies House because I was building loads of web scraping bots. And I saw that there were around 3,500 businesses incorporated every single day, right? And then when I looked at the high street, I saw a lot of the retail spaces look vacant, which didn't really make any sense, right? So I'll give you an example. In Slough High Street, in a space of 4 months, there were about 1,300 companies incorporated. But if you look on the high street, it was completely vacant. There was some shops that were there, but it just looked like a ghost town. So immediately I started to understand that this stuff was like very expensive, because when we look at Regis, we look at spaces, they're like £150 to £200 a month. And most people that start businesses don't actually have the money to fork that out. And because a lot of my ideas started in my bedroom, I knew how important it was. If I wanted to get service-based business, how to be on Google Maps, I didn't want my home address to be seen on there. So like, I kind of wanted to find a solution to how I could get into commercial spaces and help out other smaller businesses. That makes sense.
So what is it that your business actually provides? Because every business has to provide a service. What is the actual service that you provide?
Well, do you know, it's quite interesting because it kind of started changing quite a lot, because as I mentioned, I didn't really know what I was doing. I was building it as I was going along. But what my business provides is I partner with people that have vacant space. So such as a coffee shop or a local corner store, for example, right? Where people can collect their mail. A coffee shop is where people could work from, right? So what I would do is I'll make a partnership with those premises and say to them, hey, you can turn this into a business address for smaller businesses. What I saw that they really wanted was footfall inside their premises. So it was just a win-win situation. Like, but then you've got the coffee shops which kind of hate the fact that people sit on their laptops for hours and they're only buying one drink as well. So it was like, how can I make a solution that could work for both of the coffee shop and the entrepreneur, if that kind of makes sense.
Do you believe, well, the people are looking at it from a kind of weird perspective, because if I spend 7 hours in a coffee shop, I'm going to get thirsty again. So majority of the time I'm going to be spending some, so that means I'm a regular customer and I might even bring my clients here. So if they really think of it in the long term, it actually works out better for you.
Yeah, but they don't actually see it like that, because they're probably looking at the fact that you're going to sit there for 15 to 20 minutes and then you're going to go about your business, and someone else is going to sit there. You know, their income is very limited based on the people that can fit in their space. So if you're going to be there for a long period of time, it's not really going to benefit them. Do you understand what I'm saying?
How do we, now you've got me thinking, what's the niche in the market that we could help provide them with that they need? And that sounds like marketing that a lot of them are suffering from, or they're not even promoting their business.
You could say that. You could say that.
Do they, like, when you do ask them questions like, do you have a website? Do you have social media? Because social media is everything now. As weird as this sounds, it's like people will see your business on social media. I see a guy called D's Kitchen. Big up to D's Kitchen in, where is it? I think it's in Seven Sisters. But the way he promotes his business, I have to take my hats off to him. He does all these promotion videos every day. He's posting. Yeah. And he does all these videos that like promote like his foods that he sells. Now, just on the basis of them videos, he's made me want to go there and try the food. Yeah, okay. So I've wanted.
Is the food good?
I don't even know.
Okay, so you haven't been there yet, but you want to go there
because of the promotions that he's been doing. Because I'm on social media and I'm like, bro, I might have to take a trip down there. If I'm down there,
I know about D's Kitchen now. You
see what I'm saying? So that's called good promotion. Yeah. So I feel like, just like there used to be what is it? Not bars. What is it? Pubs.
Yeah.
Pubs are kind of closed down. Coffee shops have opened.
Mm-hmm.
But how do you make your coffee shop stand out for the others?
I think that's a question that I'm still trying to understand. But look, if we look at based on the location, let's just say, for example, Tooting Broadway, okay, it's an area in southwest London, and we have a coffee shop there. What my thought process is who goes to the coffee shop and sits down. And the type of people that go there seem to be level-headed, professional people. Because I'm sure if the type of people that are drinking coffees, if they weren't professional, you probably find them in McDonald's. You know, just trying to buy that £1 coffee. You know, they don't want to sit down there and, you know. So it's and I guess that's not really like a factual thing to say, but it's just something that I thought of. You know, what I saw was the amount of companies that were incorporated in those areas, and I just tried to think of a win-win situation because a lot of these businesses, they're at home, they're stuck there. Why do they go to the coffee shop to take out their laptop? Maybe because there's kids around and there's too much chaos, they can't focus. Maybe it's the fact that they want to be a part of a social atmosphere and connect with other like-minded people. So this is kind of where I see the opportunity to be able to help other businesses. So yeah, I guess this is the problem of being a scientist, is because you feel like you may have, you know, when you start an idea, you think that it will work, right? But then you end up realizing that your idea ends up being the opposite of what you thought it was until you start it. So as much as I thought the coffee shops were a good idea, I didn't realize they had this problem until I actually approached them. And then I'm trying to think of how can I actually benefit them? Like, you know, I don't know. It's even a thought process I'm trying to get around now.
But just the fact that you've even gone and done that market research, because what you've done in business, they would call it market research.
Yeah.
So market research is when you go around, see all the competitors and see where they're lacking and see where you can, even if you was to create a coffee shop, you would know, all right, I have to do this, that and that because this is where they're going wrong.
Yeah.
And I know I ain't going wrong in that. So my market research, if I create a coffee shop, it's going to be for their A, B, C, D. But if you want to provide a service now, because everybody needs certain level of help. There's no company that's even plateaued to the point where they don't need help. That's why you still see KFC and McDonald's on adverts.
Yeah.
Everybody needs a certain level of help to a certain
Do
extent.
you know, even if you listen to what I'm saying, you can still see that I'm trying to figure out Idris. I really don't even understand it yet. Like it's gone beyond my thought process. But this is an example, right? I'll give this to you. The technology that I built instantly knows when people are registered at home and generates a postcard to send to their house.
That's sick.
And then on the back, it advertises the space of the shop to let them know that it's local to them. And as you can see, this is our first location, which was a post office, which was in Kent, in Herne. And actually, that was a funny actual story.
Go on, give us a story.
How I came about that, actually.
Was that with the white? I saw it was a white guy. I saw it was an old white guy.
No. That was another space.
Bro,
you know what I'm saying? Seriously, bro. Like, do you know? And that's the thing. Funny enough, how the story started. So let me actually be more specific. I was living in Reading at the time, and there was actually, I would say he's my mentor. His name's George Scott Welsh. He owns co-working spaces, InQHive Space. And when I used to live in Basingstoke, he used to rent out his spaces for 24/7 hour access for £59 a month. Which is brilliant. Like, it's affordable.
£59 a month?
Yes, 24/7 hour access, 24/7 hour access. I could sit and I could co-work. I think his price plans were spot on. Because if you can imagine, I was trying to start a business and I was still on universal credits at the time. So I actually couldn't really afford to go and get an office space, but I knew how important it was. And with the universal credits I was getting at the time, and this was about, 4 years ago, I could be able to afford that. I still could put myself across as being professional. And that's where I loved his strategy and business model. But fast forwarding on to where I am now, he said to me, I was living in Reading, and I was working for Savills as a concierge. You know, it's quite funny because the Office Angels, which was the recruitment agency that put me in there, made me feel like I was going to be an estate agent until I got there and I realised I was sitting on the desk. But there was a building called Thames Quarter, right, which is literally opposite the train station, and just watching how the structure of business was working. So, but let me fast because I'm probably lost there. I used to tell people commercial property, there is a lot of money in there. Not actually knowing if there really was, but just focusing on the data, which you could see here. Because I knew majority of them were registered at home. Because when you look at people's addresses, if you cross-reference the data on government websites, you can see if they're paying business rates on there, right? And that doesn't mean all spaces, like, you mean, and when I mean business rates, let me explain what I mean. If you have a space that is over 1,200 square foot, right, you're going to spend business rates on your property. If it's under 1,200 square foot, then you're not going to spend business rates on that property, which would indicate that that person is in a residential property, but that's not factual. Because if you've got a small space, you could still have a, you know, no business rates on it, right? But that gave me an idea. But what I'm trying to say is a lot of people were focusing on turning commercial properties into residential because they felt like that was a better opportunity. But I really disagreed with that, because at what point do you know exactly where your customers are in any situation? Company's House tells you how many businesses are registered every day. So to my opinion, this is more lucrative than residential investment. Because I will know there's 300 people in the space of a month in Reading that have registered their business. How do I know that there's 300 people searching for properties to rent, to live in Reading? You don't. Do you understand what I'm saying? So as I was telling people, there's a lot of opportunity in commercial property, and they just weren't listening to me. Just going over their heads. So I know I'm mixing up the story. I hope the editing's great, because
you're not. I'm fully.
You know, because I'm just trying. So basically, there was sorry, my brother. Go on. So basically, there was a what do you call it, man? I kind of lost concentration because you left there, man. Sorry. Yeah, George Scott Welsh went and told me now that he'll give me £10,000 if I could find him a space that was over 20,000 square foot. So I came across this place in Reading called Forbury Square, and I went and visited it. And the funniest thing is, I was telling you I was doing a lot of web scraping. I actually was taking a lot of data of on property websites like Zoopla and Rightmove. So I actually had this property listed on my system, on my database, before I didn't even really know that I had it listed. Funny enough, I went there, and this is 20,000 square foot premises, and there's only one company in this building. In the space of 2 years, majority has been completely vacant due to the pandemic. Now, the irony of these spaces is the fact that they are still charging hefty per square foot, which is ludicrous, right? They're charging £35 per square foot. I'm saying, who is going to pay that? If there is more small businesses that are at home, why don't you just leverage your space cost so you can fit people in here? And I wanted to pitch this idea to the property surveyor that I was seeing, right? Because George told me that this space was no good. But I thought there was an opportunity there. But I knew if I told him about this idea, brush it off. We didn't really care. So I thought, do you know what? There must be a way I can get into commercial property. There has to be a way. And I thought, do you know what? A corner shop is a commercial property, you know? It is. Like, it is. It's a business. It's a business that operates in a commercial space, retail space. And I went in there and I said to the corner shop man, just went into any shop. And I said to them, if I wanted to rent a space in your shop, like how much would it be? And I knew what he was going to say. He was going to tell me, no, we don't rent space in here. I was like, no, I just want to put a PO box in here. Like, how much would you charge me, like, to do that? And I immediately saw he was interested. Bear in mind, I didn't even know what I was talking about, like, in terms of what this product could look like in his shop. I just wanted to confirm that he would let me use this as a registered business address, and he told me yes. So what I did was I called up my friend, Henry Travis, right? I called him up, I said, listen, bro, I know I come up with a lot of crazy ideas, you know, from phonebiddy.com to Owlmailer to Tracker. I've got loads of software I've built, bro, that's just sitting on the shelf and it hasn't even worked. But I said to him, listen, bro, go into a shop and do the exact same pitch I just did. And he was like, all right, cool. He told me, you know what, Shaq, I'm going to do it. And he went inside this post office right here. And yeah, that was our first location. That's literally how it started. He actually called me when he came out the shop. I said, bro, you know this guy wants a box, you know? He was like, listen to me, how did it start? What do you mean he wants a box? When I went inside the shop, right, I saw this stool and it had loads of cards on it, like, you know, birthday cards. And he spin it around and he's saying, how much do they pay you to put this in here? He's like, no, they don't pay me. So what do you mean they don't pay? They only pay me commission based on the card they sell. So immediately he was thinking, I can definitely put a box in here. If you're saying right now that you're operating on pennies, I can help you operate on pounds. Do you understand what I'm saying? And that's where the idea originally started.
Sick, because now I'm actually seeing the vision.
Yeah.
So the vision now is I can get you a business address. You'll pay, I don't know, £8, £10 a month.
Yeah.
I cut a little commission to this guy and I take my permission for myself.
That's correct, yeah.
So if I have 10 people with 10 different addresses in there, I'm making a certain amount of money that I can cut from. That's basically what
That's correct, yeah.
Okay. The reason why that's really, really smart is because cost effective, you're only getting paid for what you make. You can't lose. There's no losing. Because you know, in a lot of businesses, you might be paying for something and actually losing. And might be paying out more out of your money for the commercial space than you're actually making. A lot of people would suffer from this when it comes to renting spaces and getting big spaces. So I can see that idea of that, because you could have rented your own space and then made everyone do it.
But I didn't have the money though. So that wasn't an option.
No, but it's smart the way you've done it, because what you do is you build yourself up to a certain level, build different connections with people. And I feel like the connections you're going to make is going to be long lasting and better in the long run anyway. So I feel like that's more of an advantage than a disadvantage, because someone can still have that registered. People in that area who've got their businesses registered at their house could just be to that shop.
That's
which
correct.
is walking distance to their house. So if they want to collect them, they collect them without anybody having access to their address.
That's what the key thing was, because I knew that, you know, people can find your personal address on company's house.
Yeah, it's real. That,
do you know what I'm saying?
When I first started the business,
trust me,
that was my biggest. When I done it, and it came on my whole name. I was like, no. I was like, change this. I went to Google. I went to. I said everything. I went company's house. I had to send some verification code to my home address. I had to type it into company's house. Change the address to this address. Now it's changed to my actual business address. But I realized that my actual home address was there, and I was like, bro, my full name, my full govy.
And your year of birth as well.
Bro, they had my full govy. Someone wanted to bang F on me, they could have banged F on me,
you was a perfect target.
And if someone wanted to catch me, they would be able to find me for once. So I was like, you know what? How do I change it? I need to straight to my... I done it so slight and so fast that in the first 2 months, I was like, nah. Because I went on company's house to like gloat about, I got my own business and stuff and get my company number. And then I saw my home address. I was like, nah.
But people don't understand actually how dangerous this stuff is. Look, you see, to someone, like, I'm a computer programmer, right? It's all about cross-referencing data. So let's just say, for example, company's house doesn't actually show your full date of birth. It shows the month and the year. If I go on Facebook, I'm going to find out the day. Do you understand what I'm saying? These are the things that people are not fully aware of. It's like combining all of these different websites, and you end up making a profile of the person, right? So that was my standpoint at first, right? But then I guess then comes the question of why wouldn't you want to use a virtual address? Like a virtual address. What's the difference between an e-address and a virtual address? Now, a virtual address could be anywhere. Could be a head office in London, and you could probably spend what, £70 a year on that virtual address, and they'll open your letters, they'll scan it to you, and they'll send it to you, which is really, really good. But the issue is, if you want to have a local service, which you already know of, is Google will only allow you, only allow you to be seen in certain locations based on your address. So let's just say, for example, as I mentioned, Tooting Broadway. If I wanted to run a plumbing service in Tooting Broadway, okay, and I wanted to get local business in Tooting, and I wanted to be seen on Google My Business, I'm not going to get that audience if my head office is all the way in East London. Do you understand? And what it now becomes is an SEO strategy now, right? So now it becomes even more difficult because not a lot of people are really tech savvy anyway to be able to know how to do that, do you know? So yeah, it's not like technically a massive issue. However, there is a form of security that I personally like, the fact that I can access my own mail. I don't really like the idea of people scanning letters and sending it to me, because they're, as companies' house advisors, some of these like your tax reference ID and stuff like this should be kept personal, right? Your company's house web portal login, your web filing, all of these codes should be kept personal to you. You shouldn't have other people access them, and to me, that's just a security risk. For some people, it might not be, but that was the original thought process, right? I guess it still doesn't prove the concept that e-address is needed just from that alone. But I wanted to go bigger because I now knew I could get into shops. Can I get into spaces where we can sit down now? And my friend was a bit unsure if we could. Didn't really see it. Didn't really see the benefit of sitting in a space. But I saw the benefit because I knew that having meetings with people is something that you're still going to want to do. Even though Zoom is still there, but we're human beings. We're social people. Do you understand what I'm saying? We like to stay on social media. Do you understand? So we're social beings. So that was kind of the really important thing.
Do you think that because what I realized with starting a business, the hardest thing was getting people to believe in what I was seeing, because sometimes you have a vision and your vision is so complex that you're trying to explain it to someone, but they can't see it at that moment. It's like they're looking, thinking, you're just wasting a lot of money, or you're wasting time, or it's not going to work. Do you think that the hardest thing was trying to get people to actually see a vision, the people around you? Because the first person the first person you pitch your business to is to the people that you're most closest with.
Bro, I'm going to even, I'd like to share another story with you, bro.
Please.
This is phonebiddy.com. It's probably the most hilarious story I could probably tell you. During lockdown, I broke my phone, and I just wanted to be a cheapskate, bro. I wanted to fix my phone myself. Didn't want to pay a shop to do it because I didn't have enough money. So I fixed my phone, found that I could do it myself. And where I was living at the time, there was no phone shop like that was local in the area. But I knew if I looked outside, there's hundreds of houses, and I know majority of people have mobile phones.
Everybody.
Yeah, do you know what I'm saying? For argument's sake, let's say 95% of people in homes.
I'd say 99.
Let's go with your
99.
Your belief, okay? 99%. I could repair their phone. Guess the issue is they just don't trust me to do it because they don't know who I am. And plus I'm in a house. I don't have a professional look. But the thing that I learned about this industry was that the phone repair shops don't even have any qualifications. They're not even regulated, bro.
It's true.
They're not even regulated, not one single bit. And I remember I was speaking to you about this idea as well, like at one point, yeah? And this is where it becomes a bit hilarious, right? Because I had this idea where imagine you broke your phone and you went onto a website, example, phonebiddy.com, you put your postcode in, the problem that was wrong with your phone, and phone technicians local to you would bid against each other to repair your phone.
Jeez.
I thought the idea was really good.
I think the idea's still really
Yeah,
good.
all right, cool. But we're going to find out why people didn't think it was. So I decided to go to Bournemouth, actually. The first shop that I was signing up to the platform. I knew I just needed a photo of a shop and him standing right next to me. And you know, if you go on the website, bro, you still see the same guy on the first page, right? So when you do the edits, you know, I'll send you that photo and you can put it there, bro. You see me there in my little phone biddy jumper. And what was so funny as well is I then put it on Facebook. Now, I knew that, like I said, I'm a scientist. So what I do is I have an idea and I want to break it as much as possible. I want people to criticize the fuck out of this idea so I actually understand how to make it better, because you're going to learn more from people talking shit about it than actually giving you all the positive feedback, innit? So then I started to understand.
Listen to that. I repeat that again for the people.
People, you know, I can't even remember what I
Bro,
just
he's
said.
saying basically you will learn more from people's criticism than you will from people's praise.
Yeah.
So don't be afraid to take on criticism.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was exactly, I couldn't remember that exactly how I worded it. But so this was where it became even more interesting now, because remember where I said that they could bid against each other? It wasn't the fact of bidding to zero. It was the fact that one technician will put their price and they would not get to bid again. It would just be their final price, right? Because I don't want people saying £40, then someone says 35, and then that same person's going 33. It wasn't about that. It was about getting a quote that was just based on the spot. Like a window into the phone shop, innit? Instead of just calling loads of people to find out who had your part and so forth. But yeah, anyway, fast forwarding. I took a photo with the guy, everything. And on Facebook, I knew that I needed to understand this more. So what I would do is I would offer phone shops free advertising. I would pay to advertise their business on Facebook just so they can engage with me. Because what I did is I built PhoneBiddy as a point of sale system. Very basic. You see that functionality I was talking about bidding? It didn't exist yet. It was just a CRM system, to put it like that. You know, you could book customers in and you can send email receipts from a basic perspective. Now, someone obviously saw, they were interested in the fact that I would advertise their business. What they weren't interested in was the idea, because what they said is, this idea is terrible. On the photo of me with the phone shop, this is a race to zero. Then another guy from Ireland, which was respected in the phone repair community, said, are you joking? Are you like really getting angry? Then all of a sudden, I've had some random people from all over the country telling me I'm going viral inside this Facebook group. Everyone's laughing. They sent me a photo of what was going on in this Facebook group.
But isn't that, wait, but I'm looking at it as a positive.
Bro, same, but you don't know how to deal with it when it's chaos against you.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
It's real. You should come to me, bro. I don't know how to deal with that chaos
Joe,
online.
but
You bring that to me, I'll make
not
money
know.
off that chaos.
I did not know. That was the irony of it. Now, the thing that was the most funniest was they sent me a photo, and it was an old lady, and her nipples were really sagging. And it said, phonebiddy.com, price lower than this woman's nipples, which was on the phone. It was just some funny meme, bro. Yeah, and I was just laughing. And funny enough,
You was about to take over. You know, let me tell you something. You see, when everyone's laughing at you, it's because they're scared that you're a threat to their company.
Yes.
You was like the biggest threat ever in the whole of this. They thought, shit, this guy's going to destroy the industry because he's going to make all the prices drop and everyone's going to get their phone for cheaper. We've been bumping people for so long. There's someone that's going to come in and actually get the work done for cheaper and the better prices. That to them was like, it was like going into an industry and just taking over. So in their mind, we've got to drill this thing and make it look, give it the worst press in the world. So what they done is they tried to eliminate you because you was a threat. That's what they did.
That's what it was, bro. But do you know what? It's funny because I realized how much of a threat I was. All of the big phone park companies, the CEOs, the directors knew who I was.
Wow.
They knew who I was.
That's mad.
Because you got to remember, they're in these Facebook groups selling to these phone repair technicians parts. I made a phone repair group come out and speak to each other. They never ever did that. They came out and all watched me. Yeah?
I would have been going hard at that time, you know. I would have been making up some lies. My first shop, still outside the shop like this.
Bro, I didn't know, because you got to understand, yeah? You're trying to come into an industry humble because you don't actually understand it. You're trying to understand it. And you want feedback and advice from people. All you're doing is, I'm coming in as a computer programmer. I see a problem and I want you to help me address this problem, right? And they just didn't understand. But this is where you're going to see, guys, that your idea that you have is never what you thought it was when you started it. No, it never was what you thought it was until you start. And what I meant by that, remember when I told you I was repairing my own phone? I was actually solving my own problem. I was solving the fact that people wanting to start a phone repair business at home because they had no money. I wasn't trying to partner with the phone repair shops. And I only understood that when I had a meeting online with the guy from Ireland who was heavily respected. He told me that the phone repair industry in the next 5 years is not going to exist anymore. A lot of the phone repair shops that you see out there, they're going to start to close down because Apple and all of these big tech companies have been getting onto them. And what is this under? The right to repair legislation. This is where I started to open up my mind and started to see a bigger picture. He was saying, we noticed that there was a problem from the iPhone 5 when the touch button wasn't working. And there was no solution for that. But then we found a solution. And then Apple kept making more problems with technicians repairing their devices. Do you understand? So I understood where this could go. Because when I looked at the right to repair legislation, it clearly states that they want consumers to repair their own devices, which makes perfect sense. You need practically every single person in the United Kingdom, around the world, to give a monkeys about repairing their own phone. And I'm telling you this from now. They're not going to give a monkeys if they're not making money from it. I wanted to give a power back to the consumer by enabling them to start a business at home, repairing their phones, and using my software as the point of trust to verify that this person can do it.
Sick.
Do you understand what I'm saying? So I ended up partnering with a company in Hounslow called Tech Geek UK, which was a trainership company. And, you know, you can Google search phone repair apprenticeships. You probably see phonebiddy.com #1 on Google there, on the first page. We did a letter campaign, which was amazing, which will probably lead us further on to how I started tracking print advertising. And I've made another software called Tracker that does that for free, which we'll talk about later. But 60 people signed up in the space of 2 weeks. And I was #1 on Google just because of that letter campaign. It's funny because SEO, people just think it's online. It's also offline too. SEO is really about how long people spend on your website. It's what they don't understand. That's the real algorithm of Google, right? Because if Google is seeing you click on a page and leave it, then it's clearly not the right information. Do you understand?
That's the same with YouTube as well. YouTube's not just about how many people click the video, it's how much people stay there after 30 seconds of being there.
That's correct.
And the longer someone stays there, so if someone stays from the initial clicking of the video for the next 10 to 15 minutes, you're getting put up there.
So what happens if they skip the video in certain parts? Does that mess up the...
No. And this is even more. after the person watches one of your content, do they go and watch more of your content? Because that means your content is engaging. They actually watch that. That is what builds the algorithm on YouTube.
Okay.
It's not about how much clicks you got. You can have 1 million views, but nobody's engaging because nobody's clicking on one video, then going to another video, and going to another video. It's like, I'm interested in your content. I'm engaging. I like your content. I know there's some people that come to my Instagram, see one video and be like, nah, this guy's crazy. This guy's wild. This guy's wild. This guy has no manners. Because I see people like 10 things. One person will like 10 things. But that's how engagement is. So I understand that from the SEO. But I never knew that for websites, the SEO was like, I didn't know that. Because when I do get statistics from my website, it does tell me, oh, this person was on your website for 6 minutes. I'd be like, why is he doing on my website for 6 minutes? I'm asking myself, what are you doing on my website for 6 minutes, bro?
But let me prove why that is so true. If anyone clicks on phonebiddy.com/apprenticeships, there is no more than 300 words on that page. Every single SEO person will tell you that you need anywhere between 400 to 600 words on a page. I can guarantee you that page has got around 200, 250 words on there. So which would indicate that time spent on that website and people following through to the contact form and actually signing up made that appear to be number one. Also, there is also an argument, the fact that it maybe not be a high search term, right? Which enabled me to be number one, which could be a very, good fact in that. But it shows that I was only doing a direct mail letter campaign and people were scanning the QR code, landing on the webpage and signing up. So I think that proves what I needed to know anyway, that SEO is outside of just online activities, it's pretty much online as well. Do you know what I mean? Offline as well. So, fast forwarding on, around 60 people signed up. The apprenticeship course was about to be 2 years long. And some people needed to do their maths and English if they didn't complete their maths and English because of the way the government incentivizes these apprenticeships. And that's where I kind of went depressed a bit. I didn't know what to do. And I think this is where you have to start understanding business a lot more, because I didn't really understand business that much.
But it's not understanding business. It's about having people around you. And this is why I said cultivating a circle full of entrepreneurs, you learn more. In a circle full of thinkers, all you have around you is people that have solutions to problems rather than problems and problems. Because I don't mind getting criticized, but give me some solutions to what you think I should do. So someone comes in my room and says, look, I feel like you need to have this. I'll be like, all right, cool, no problem. I go and get it straight away. But that's because I never let it affect me like that. I let it affect me in a positive way. So if I don't know something or I'm thinking, oh, damn, this is too hard, I'd always go to a professional that might know more than me and ask them all the questions. But I go crazy with questions to the point where I ask basic questions and then people will think, like they might even, well, you never knew that. Yeah, I didn't. And I'm happy that you've taught me because now I know. And once I know, I don't need to know ever again.
No, do you know that is a very good point. I guess for me it was the fact that I was really lonely at the same time. Because you stop hanging around certain people that you used to because your thought process is totally different to theirs. Okay? My ideology, the way I think, is forget about the money and focus on solving a problem.
But that's business. Business is providing a service that benefits the people. That's what I've learned. Whatever that is, McDonald's, what service does McDonald's give us that no other company gives us why everyone goes there? Why? What?
It's speed, I think.
Fast food. They embody the word fast food. You go in there, you order a food, 2 minutes later, number 106, you go and collect your food. You're out.
So quick.
It's like in the space of 10 minutes, you have your food. They thrive themselves on that. They are the fastest fast food restaurant. So if you go into a restaurant and you're waiting half an hour and you're hungry, how do you feel after? You feel upset.
Bro, I feel mad. Bro, listen, I've sat there in a restaurant waiting 2 hours, bro, for Jamaican food, bro. 2
You didn't want to eat the food when you got it. Be on.
Bro, I was just hungry, man. I ended up going to a Nepalese restaurant, which was actually really nice, First time having Nepalese food. But, that's, and I don't mean to just say the restaurant or Jamaican restaurant. Jamaican food is really lovely. And, if you get it right, you can really go well.
That's the point of what I'm trying to say. They've won in the market because they provide a service that people need. So anytime you can provide a service for people that people need, then that's what you're doing. So forget money for a second. What service can you provide that people will be in need of? Once you can find that, that's when you can start seeing now you can start thinking, how can I monopolize? But what I've realized, when you're working with a lot of people, the first thing they ask is, how much money do I make?
Because they're stuck in the now moment. This is the issue. And the now moment is important because we need our now thinking to be able to survive every day. But then when we want to build like a legacy, we can't think about the now moment. We have to think of, how other people, what their needs are, and that's what the main important thing, why I say to people, you should become scientists first. Because the more you become a scientist, you start to understand. And that's the reason why I chose programming, because I knew that I was more likely going to fail all my ideas. Yeah. And trust me, when you fail an idea, are you going to have the enthusiasm to put more money into it? Especially if you ain't got no money, bro.
But I never believe that you fail. I always believe failure to me is when you just give up on everything. When I've made many mistakes in building a studio. I could tell you every single mistake, and I can go into detail on every single mistake. I remember when there was a time when someone used to be my engineer, my sound engineer, and every time he used to mess up my audio. And I was so mad. And I needed a solution. I found a very simple solution. I researched. All I needed was a micro SD card for like £10. I pull it in the back, it does all the recording for me. Everything goes on my micro SD card. I pull it onto a thingy, I pull it on my computer, and it's done. That was my problem solved. I didn't need him anymore. He was irrelevant, and he was getting upset because I was getting mad at him because he was kept messing up my audio. It didn't even make sense. So in my mind, I was like,
when you say messing up your audio in terms of lost recordings,
like sometimes, like say for instance, you're talking right now, he wouldn't tell me that you can't be picked up on the mic. So after, I'm like, I couldn't even hear him. He's like, oh, sorry. And I'm like, what?
Bro, that's loads
you just
of
wasted
valuable
my man's
content.
2 hours, bro. Like, and you wasted my time. Bro, what are you talking about? Sorry. And then I had to use some dead audio that sounded like a tin can. And I'm like, bro, no one's going to want to listen to me.
But it's okay if someone makes a mistake once, but if they continue making that same mistake, that's a problem.
I generally believe in business, the way I'm cutthroat. We can't make mistakes. I can't afford to.
Yeah.
A mistake to me, I have to solve it immediately. But the point of what I'm trying to make is that if you have a business model and it's more service provision, and you're looking at what is the gap in the market that I can fill, the niche that I can fill in this niche, people think automatically the pocket. And I don't like working with people like that, because I feel like your vision is too short for me. Because in 20 years, I'm going to be a billionaire. But are you going to be on that journey with me? Because most people will jump off the ship because they think that it's not making money. When they start seeing it working, everyone starts coming back in. Like, bro, he just You're like, bro, I presented this idea like 6 years ago to you. I asked you for £200. You didn't give me £1. And it's important that we always look at it that if you can find, and every business started from small, every business. I remember when I was reading like Coca-Cola made like 100 bottles a year. That first year they made 100 bottles. They didn't think it was going to blow. You know what I'm saying? And then now look at it now. Coca-Cola owns all of that.
Yeah, they all
Same
know
with
probably
Kellogg's.
the drinks, probably they're on Fanta as well, don't
Fanta,
they?
everything, Sprite, it's all Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
But if you'd have looked at it from back in the day, you would have thought, this ain't going to do nothing. Now it owns Coca-Cola is probably the most addictive drink in the world.
Yeah,
I think it's the most addictive. I've only seen people addicted to Coca-Cola. See? Look. It's the most addictive for me personally. I feel like that's the most addictive thing in the world. But a lot of people won't admit that it's the most addictive. But if we go back into so after you started the phone repairs, what happened from there? What did you start doing from there? You said
I mentioned to you that I started feeling depressed over the course thing, right? Because it was 2 years, and I realized that these people ain't gonna sit here for 2 years doing this thing. I need to make money, and this is why I was saying that it's important that to learn a bit about business. But because I didn't understand business, I felt like I couldn't get funding for my projects yet. And really and truly, I had an MVP. I had a minimal viable product. Do you understand what I'm saying? I had a software And I had 60 people who wanted to learn phone repairs that would start a phone repair business at home that was spreaded out across many different locations.
You didn't have to get. You didn't have to get loans. You didn't.
I didn't know that stuff, bro.
You already had everything in.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
All you really needed was to just take it to somebody and say, "Yo,
yeah,
can you give me 100 back?" And you know, there's investors that can write off their taxes by investing in you. As a community grant. You know that, right?
Yeah. So remember we was discussing about ECIS, right? ECIS is basically a 75% tax write-off, especially when you're doing research and development, okay? Which is an appealing to an investor because every startup is going to be a high-risk investment, period, right? But now, if I give you £10,000, for example, and I can write off 75% of that tax, then my risk is now minimal because I've only invested 2,500 mentally. That's the only loss. So this is what I'm saying. Because I wasn't aware of these things, you know, I'm just happy I'm the person I am. Because you know what I've said? You know, I'm going to make an opportunity for Phoneby. I didn't give up. I need to think of another software. Now, bear in mind when I told you that I was doing a letter campaign. Now, do you know what was so funny? Was I knew that I wanted people from the letter to go to a landing page. But I used a website called QR Code Site Generator, some sort of nonsense name like that. And I put all the QR codes on the letters and the business cards, right? It's pretty cool. But by the time I had the letters, I didn't realize I had a 14-day free trial on these QR codes. So now I had to spend £60. Otherwise, if I didn't, people would scan the QR code and it wouldn't go to the landing page. Do you know what I mean? I've got like 500 letters ready to just go out and I'm like, fuck, I've got to spend £60 now. So I was just thinking, you know what? Because I'm really into data, there's a lot of public information, a lot of public data that people can use, especially for direct marketing as well, right? And this is where I came up with the idea of a neutrality group, actually. Didn't actually launch it, funny enough, but just talk about it. Energy Performance Certificates, EPC. Every single household, residential, has one. And an EPC certificate basically measures what the energy rating of the property is, which goes between A and G, right? And that's what happens when a property surveyor comes in the property and, you know, does an energy assessment. And that becomes public records. Now, I knew that that data was accessible for me to take because it was public. And on the information on what the government provides, what the property surveyor writ, give you an example, 123 mystreet.com. They have an energy rating of an E. And the property surveyor would say they're spending 1,300 averagely per year on their energy bills. If they were to insulate their property doing XYZ, which will tell you in detail what they can do, they can save £600 per month. So immediately, based on this data, I knew that I could send direct mail to these houses.
Damn. That probably right now is one of the... Wait, hold on. And this is something that you've got an idea with. You haven't actually...
No, I already built the software just on the shelf. That's the issue. That's the curse of the entrepreneur. Especially when you're a computer programmer. All your ideas, you end up building them. And some of them are wasted time to do. But
so why don't you partner with people? So
that's what I wanted to do.
So this is where...
It's my issue, bro.
No. It's not your issue. You found me. Listen,
that's good.
Yeah. I believe that we have... You remind me of myself. When I'm hearing you talk, you remind me of myself. You've got all these mad ideas going on, everything going on.
Yeah.
You just don't know how to contextualize it.
Yeah.
Compartmentalize it. Like, all right, this is going to go over here. You're going to run this and have this, but I'm going to be the overseer of it, but you, man, have this of it. All right, you, man, this is what I got over here. Boom, you lot run. That's what entrepreneurs and multi-millionaires do. They don't have one source of income. They have about 7.
Yeah.
And a millionaire has 7 forms of income. If you ever think a millionaire has got one source of income and it's all property, you've lost your mind.
Yeah.
I was reading the book Rich Dad Poor Dad. He said that it was properties, it was renting, it was bare other things. Yeah, there's lots of other things. Inside of one thing, there's 7 different avenues.
Yeah.
And that's where you become rich from. my book. He sold his book.
Yeah.
What people never thought the book not making
the-
money.
yeah.
Book made
Do you know,
millions,
millions,
bro.
yeah,
What do you
it's
think
true.
that was? That was another revenue of income.
Yeah.
So it's about having all of these translucent incomes that not a lot of people are seeing, but are being built. There's
Yeah.
some people like Elon Musk. Yeah, I didn't even know he was the guy that started PayPal. I didn't know he was the guy that
Yeah,
started PayPal.
yeah.
Did you know?
I did.
But I didn't even know. And
But
he sold it off.
it was called I think it was called X before that, some sort of website that he had before. It was pretty much like a X.com. I don't even want to talk on that because I don't actually can't remember to give you.
But he sold Pay. He was the founder of
topic,
PayPal, and this is what I'm trying to say. But where's PayPal now? He ain't got nothing.
But he got what, 200 million?
Thank you. This is what I'm
From
trying to say. Sometimes your idea is meant to be something that you sell on to someone,
Yeah.
take their profits, and go into more things
Yeah.
that you really are passionate about and you really want to do. So that's where I was trying to say. That idea there was a sick idea. I don't even know, like, that is a sick idea.
No, it is. It's so relevant. And the reason why it's so relevant is because if we look at what the government are saying, especially around property at the moment, landlords, supposedly, by 2025, won't be allowed to rent out their properties if they have an EPC that's above a C. It's a massive problem. Majority of the houses in the UK are registered a D rating. That's a massive issue. So, the government always says things, right? 2025, then it's probably going to be 2028. It just always pushes back. But the point I'm trying to make is there is tons of public information out there, and what it was for me was, as I mentioned, you can hear, I've created loads of ideas, and what I try to do is find the people that are smarter than me in this industry that will take onto it. But unfortunately, I've come across people that are not really that smart, that kind of understand what I'm talking about. They're smart in their own way. Maybe they just don't care about what I'm talking about. Maybe that's my biased view on how they think. But to me, it's a no-brainer, which kind of led me even more. So when we look at this postcard here, there is a QR code on here, right? This is a trackable QR code, which I built into eDress. But then I wanted to help other small businesses, so I developed something called tracker.co.uk, which basically allows you to generate free QR codes and will give you analytics every time people scan it. And you can see in the site, and you can download reports of how many scans you got. So I'll send you some photos which you could show.
Brother, I want to do that right now. You already got a client right now.
It's free.
Yeah, for Rare Hub, I want everything to come up, my whole website, everything.
Yeah,
Can I do that?
Yeah, of course. It's absolutely free, bro. Like, I think a lot of people ask, why do you make free? I think it's just like it's like a programmer thing, man.
There's no such thing as free software. It's called creative software that is going to revolutionize the market. You just need someone who's, again, I believe everything can be monetized off.
Yeah,
this is where my niche comes in. This is where I'm good. I look at everything as an opportunity and how I can monetize off of it. I never get something and think, how do I not monopolize off this? I always think, how can I monopolize off these ideas and off this and off that? And I think that a lot of people, when they go into business, they don't think, how can I monopolize? They think, oh, this is a great idea. I wonder who's going to believe in me. I don't care who's going to believe in me. Money going to believe in me. Yeah. And once I can make money believe in me, that's all I need. Yeah. So I feel like having a strong team and strong network of people around you always makes you win.
Yeah, 100%.
That's why if you see some circles, people talk about Jeff Bezos and all that, but who are the people below him? Go and check that out. That's who you really need to know. Yeah. Because those are the people that are holding the foundation of the building. It's not a name is just a name. Go to the people below him that helped him.
Do you know what? It's funny you say this because there's actually, I would say he's somewhat of a mentor to me. He annoys me sometimes, to be fair, but it's good chap. But he always said to me, his name's Paul, by the way. If you're seeing this, good on you. But he always said to me that, Shaquille, you're an ideas man. You're not the nuts and bolts guy. And I had to really sink that in, what he meant by that. I just went, what do you mean I'm not the nuts and bolts guy? I'm the guy who fucking builds this thing from scratch. But then you got to realize there are people that can take my ideas far beyond than I can.
100%.
And I understood that. And seriously, like, I'm actually appreciate that he told me that. Not many people could tell you the truth about what they think of you. And I'm actually happy that he did.
But being that ideas, man, is still playing a role inside of the society for it to work.
But you need ideas, people, man. You need innovation.
Yeah. And you need good innovation, and you need good people that are going to go pitch the innovation, and you need people that are going to fund the innovation. You need a secretary that's going to take the phone calls for the information.
Yeah.
Everything is a structure. And this is what I've learned by being in managerial positions in businesses. I've learned the intricate details of business. So we own this store. We pay 28 grand a month. I was working in Charles Tirrett. It's a suit shop. And shirts and stuff like that, yeah. So I always look so suave, yeah. You look,
no, what you do, bro. That's the first thing I saw. I saw you, bro.
So they taught me two things. That business, I was in the depth of it because I was assistant manager. I learned things about the company. They paid 27 grand to have a store in Westfield. That's the rent in Westfield, 27 grand a month. So you're looking for a shop, it's 27 grand a month.
Where was the shop? In Stratford or Shepherd's Bush?
Shepherd's Bush.
Okay.
27 grand. They're turning over monthly 150 grand. Out of the 150 grand, they're paying the rent with it.
Right.
So now start to do your costs. They pay the rent from it and everything. The boss doesn't, none of his money is being used. All of the money that his store is generating is actually paying for everything inside of the store. He's paying for everyone's salaries. He's paying for the rent. He's paying for everything. He's even paying for the stock from the money that you're making in the store. So this is what you call a sustainable business. When a store is sustainable on its own. But how do you have that? You got to have different people in different positions. It can't run by one person or two people or three people. It needs like at least 10 people. The problem that we seek to venture is that we don't have salaries to provide for people.
Yeah.
But the problem is, the reason why we don't have salaries is because people want everything to be fast tracked in business. And they say in the first 2 or 3 years of a business, that's when it goes bust.
Yeah.
That's why your business credit, if you try to apply for business credit on your business, they ask you how long you've been operating for.
Yeah.
That's one of the things they ask. They should look at your certificate and say, oh, since 2021, it's 2023. Yeah, give him to the end of this year, he'll go bust.
Yeah.
Because most people flop in the first 2 years of business. Because what happens is you start an idea, you're enthusiastic about it, you start going, you do all the research, you do everything you're meant to do at the start, everything starts building up, and then you hit.
Do you know what? Do you know what? I have a question. It makes me think a bit. So you probably saw a lot of videos on YouTube around how you should have your company structure set up. I see that all the time, being an entrepreneur, and so I'm sure you see content like that too. And one of them is, you have your limited companies, and then you have your holding company, which just would sit above, which will own, shares of each of those limited companies. So do you think in that perspective that it's worth just at least maintaining one company just for credit purposes? So that holding company, making sure that is always going, because all of your other ideas, they can fail, but as long as that one company is okay, then at least it's got some leverage, if that kind of makes
100%. You need a holding company that makes sure that all your taxes are done, everything's done, your shareholders are all on point. One of the main things that when it comes to building a network of people that I've seen that a lot of people failing is that they themselves are their CEO, managing director, assistant manager, director.
It's too much.
Editor, everything. Now, if you look at any business that's functioning and making multi-millions, you have to employ people. It's better, and this is just going to sound crazy, I'm about to say, it's better to employ someone to do a job that you can do and pay them. Do you know why? It frees up your time.
You're buying people's time.
Yeah, so I'm freeing up my editing time so that I can go and network with more people and try to get more investors.
Yeah.
If I'm focusing on editing, I've got to focus on that task first, complete that task, and then go and talk to the investors. That's taking up space inside of my mind, inside of my day.
Yeah.
That's what destroys a lot of people. So when I say to people, you have to delegate and relegate. Two things you always remember this, bro. Always remember these two principles. I learned this from a wise business mentor. He said to me, delegate and relegate. I said, what do you mean by delegate? He said, if there's something that you can do, but someone else can do for you, then delegate.
Yeah.
And he said, if there's something that you can't do, then relegate. Don't spend too much time thinking, oh, I'm going to try and get someone to do this, I'm going to try to do it. But it's a hard task in itself that you find it very difficult to do.
Yeah.
Relegate it. Because it's better that you delegate something to someone else and you free your time up so that you have more time to do the other things in your business that you might need to do. Does that make sense?
No, do you know that makes perfect sense. I guess the issue for me, and I've said quite a few times, is the money situation. Do you understand? So I think for me, the best asset that I have right now is the knowledge of computer science. I didn't go university. I just wanted to be an entrepreneur really bad, bro. Do you know? And I knew I was going to fail my ideas. And I say that word fail, not because, I didn't learn something from it, because I bounced back again with another one, as you can hear. Like, I've got so many different ones, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not just talking about things that you can't, like, you could just imagine. You can physically use these tools. You go on phonebiddy.com and you can create an account and you can use it as a point of sale system now. And I haven't even made any updates to it. Do you know? But it still exists. Tracker is out there for people that want to track their print advertisements, which is traqr.co.uk. It's free for you to use. You don't have to pay for it. I even built a CRM system for Clubhouse.
Explain that. CRM
system. I call it a Clubhouse extension. You see, Clubhouse is a place, it's a social audio app, right? People there, they network. And they make a lot of good connections. I've made some good connections on there. Funny enough, I ended up with 3 commercial properties from Clubhouse. Do you know what I mean? Just because I knew someone and she knew someone. So that was brilliant. But what I noticed was that there were so many people making connections, but it was very easy to forget people. You know, if you go into a room, you're speaking to hundreds of people every day, how are you going to remember every single conversation you had with them? So what I did is I built a tool that sits on top of Clubhouse called backlinked.club, kind of like LinkedIn for Clubhouse, because I felt like there was that business element to it. And what it will do is it will pull data from Clubhouse and then generate all your contacts into a spreadsheet so you can import them into your CRM. So it was just like a basic tool. You end up building things because like that's why I say you got the curse of the entrepreneur, because you might build ideas that necessarily don't serve your purpose.
But when you say money is a problem, I don't think money's ever... This is what I've learned, and this is what it took me time to learn. Money is never an issue. There is so much money out there.
No, it's true.
Taken, and we need to start, bro.
But I mean, from a skill point of view, bro.
By the time you finish this, I'm gonna show you some funding that man just got just got given.
Bro, I beg you, show me, bro.
It was so easy. It was so easy to get.
Yeah.
Like, bro, like I'm not gonna lie. I put in work in my design, and my managing director put in work in like how we designed our portfolios and stuff like that. But besides that, bro, that was really it. Like, here's a bag. Here's 2 bags. Here's 5 bags. I'm like, wow, like, that's how people getting money.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's mad, isn't it, bro?
But I'm getting money to actually invest into my business.
Yeah.
Some people getting money because they're trying to like pocket it. Like, I'm actually using the money. I'm using the money to actually benefit my company.
Yeah.
So I'm running events. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. And again, the one thing that most people don't realize is that even if you don't have money, partnerships can create money.
Yeah, no, it's very true. But I mean, from my perspective, right, you don't really know much entrepreneurs when you're starting out, you know, and probably the type of business people you're around are pretty much small scale, do you know? It's not bad, but I want to build the next $1 billion idea.
But you have to start from
the small scale.
Yeah,
and I understand that. But you know what, fortunate for me, the story how I became a computer programmer was actually very interesting, because I used to be a courier. Yeah, we just go back over 10 years ago. Company called eCourier. And I remember, you know...
What's eCourier? I swear I've seen that.
It's a red writing, isn't it? Red writing. No. Little purple sign, white. They're based in like near Portobello Road. That's where their head office is, bro. They're
eCourier, I've seen that though.
They're like any other courier service. But you know, for anyone, let's just pretend I worked for Royal Mail. I'm sure everyone can understand that. And I used to be on my ped delivering these parcels. Now, the thing that was interesting about it is they had these clunky PDA devices. You know when the people sign a signature for their package, right? So I'm thinking, oh, okay, this is how I get paid. Whatever, clunky device. And then what happened was my bike broke down when I was guaranteed £400 a week if I turn up every day. That Friday, I only made £70 and I was working every day that week. I was pissed, bro. Do you know what I mean? Like, bro, I was living with a girl in Tulworth as well. Do you know what I mean? Like, bruv, man had no money, bro. She was cussing, bro. Like, I didn't feel any good. Do you know what I mean? We were in a flat, got a dog in there as well. Do you know what I mean? Just,
Yeah,
I was moving mad, bro. Do you know what I mean? Bottom line is, man ended up working for Deliveroo. Yeah. And, you know, I actually got to meet the founder, Will, right? The guy who made Deliveroo. Because he was in the office at the time in Tottenham Court Road. When the company was probably like 2 years old, right? And they only used to be in central London. So I used to operate in Chelsea at the time. But I'm so happy God gave me the mind to see things I don't think people actually appreciate. Because when I went into the Deliveroo office, do you know what I saw? They were tracking people from their phones. They were giving people jobs from their iPhones. That means PDA devices are out the window, and that means they're making money off my own assets. Do you understand what I mean? Like, I'm getting a job through my iPhone saying, hey, I've got to pick up this from here and deliver it from here. I saw the cost effective immediately. Bear in mind, I'm not a programmer yet. I didn't even know what I just knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur because my father's an entrepreneur. Do you know what I mean? He hasn't been around with me all this time, but he never needed to. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because he already installed the hunger in me anyway, from young. You know, I didn't grow up on a council estate. I didn't. I just made bad decisions based on the people that I hanged around with and wanted the money now. So that's what led me to bad activities when I was younger. But that's besides the point. When I saw that, I was like, this is cool. And then I ended up, you know, doing the jobs that was cool. Then another company came along, which was Gin. They were paying £600 a week. I was just like a workhole, bro. You know, if you're going to, like, Deliveroo's giving me my wages every 2 weeks, Gin's giving my wages every week, and they're giving me £600. So,
you're going with them,
bro, I just going with them. I switched. Bro, I saw something that I was not supposed to see. When I went to Gin's head office, and the founder of the company was Leon. Basically, what Gin was doing was a personal shopper. If you wanted me to go Gucci for you, and you wanted me to buy you a Gucci belt, I will go there, I will buy it, and I will deliver it to your house within the hour. That's what their service was. It was amazing.
Is they still about?
No, I think they closed. I think there's another company that's kind of taken that concept idea. But yeah, they were about. What I saw showed me my future. I went upstairs in the head office with no one supposed to go upstairs. Everyone they meet, the drivers, is downstairs in the communal area. When I opened that door, I saw one guy sipping a McDonald's cup, sipping it, fat guy. It doesn't matter if he's fat or not, but I'm just telling you, like, you know, I saw hardly anything in his office, bro. I saw one chair, do you know what I mean? One little table and him controlling drivers, at least 30 of them paying £600 a week. I was like, I had that moment right there, that hand on face moment. Like, so man's tracking me, giving me jobs through my phone, and now my man don't even need people in their office, bro. I thought to run a business like that, you need loads of people.
No.
I was seeing tech work for people. Bottom line, I got fired from Gin, bro. I was like, fuck you, Leon. I'm starting Time Saver. I'm starting my own little thing. Do you know what I mean? Basically copied his idea, bro. Do you know what I mean? Was nowhere near as good as his, of course not. And he knew that anyway. But that's what I needed, was the drive, innit? Because I had my own bike, had my own phone. I just didn't have a website or a brand. So I got my WordPress website made, which is I paid around £200 for it. I was getting quotes like 30 grand for an app, bro. I didn't have that, bro. Like, do you know what I mean? So I was starting from very basic minimal. And, you know, fast forwarding, I knew that this company wasn't be successful if I didn't have the right technology. Because if I wanted to have more drivers, I needed apps just like Deliveroo to be able to track them and send them jobs.
Yeah, facts.
You know, I got that made and everything. But I met this one guy. I was like, I need to find a programmer, man. I need to find one. He's like, do you know what? Funny enough, I actually know someone. Because, you know, and so forth. And I met up with him. His name's Edward. Still my friend today. The best person ever God could put me in front of. Do you understand? And you know what the maddest thing is, yeah? And with, you know, I still respect him as a person. He doesn't believe in God. I'm just trying to show you, God works through people, bro.
100.
Period, bro. Whether you believe in God or not, it don't matter. God will still use you as a vessel to go and get
100%.
what other people need, bro.
100%.
I wanted freedom. You know what the guy said to me? I want 50% of your company if you want me to build this idea. I was so arrogant. Like, why am I giving you 50% of my company when something's just in your head? You're not putting no money down. That was my attitude. He was like, you know, this sort of, do it yourself then. That sort of attitude, bro. Do you know what I mean? But he was kind enough to actually show me what I needed to do. Bro, ever since he showed me what I needed to do in terms of like how I need to set up my development environment. You know, I started off pretty basic. You know, I weren't using Linux yet. You know, I wasn't using those operating systems. I was using my Windows, but I was using Git Bash. Do you know what I mean? So I was doing what I was kind of speeding up ahead of people. You know, I was using front end frameworks like Foundation, which is like a competitor of Bootstrap. Do you know if anyone's familiar with these CSS frameworks? This is how I practiced and I got involved in that. And that is how I became a programmer. I jumped straight in the deep end with Laravel.
Hey, wait. So
PHP.
you started you're self-taught to a certain extent.
Yeah, because I was trying to build Time Saver myself.
Okay.
But I was trying to do it through the programming that he showed me. Like Laravel is a MVC framework, which stands for Model Views Controller, right? And basically is, you know, that's what, you know, if we're talking about web developers, this is what the big boys are using at that time. Do you know, Laravel was really pumping. WordPress was like for the little boys, you know what I mean?
Little kids.
Yeah, little kids, you know what I mean? There's a complete difference in it in terms of that. So I was learning quite hefty shit. But the bottom line was I felt Time Saver. It didn't go anywhere. But what I became from starting Time Saver was a computer programmer.
So you never failed.
So I didn't.
You didn't fail. You just learned a different avenue of where to go. It took you to another place. I hate the word fail. I'm going to use the word.
I know you do. I could tell.
I don't like the word fail. I like the word
experience.
Experience. And the reason why I say that is because all your experiences have led you to be here.
Yeah.
All your experiences led you to be here.
It's true.
Think about it. Your experience got you here. No money, no nothing. It was your experiences and learning and becoming an entrepreneur. And I don't like the word fail because it just feels like you stopped at something when you just found another avenue of where to go. It's like for you, your ideas keep taking, but you're not sitting grounded on one thing. It's because your ideas keep evolving, which is a good thing. Nothing should ever be the same. And the reason why some people fail in life, like older people, like they're like, I'm not doing that, man. I'm staying in my ways. It's like they're stuck in their specific
Can't
ways.
teach you no dog tricks.
So for me, I'm super adaptable. You tell me, oh, this ain't working. Why don't we try this? I'm like, let's try.
Do you know what? Right, I think as well. I think the biggest thing that can draw you back as well is when people say that you should stick with one idea. And you should see things through.
No, but not stick with one idea, but solidify one idea.
Yeah.
Solidify.
Which is very true, right? But then there was a famous quote by Winston Churchill, which I recently posted on my Instagram. Success is the ability to go from one idea to another without the ability of losing enthusiasm. And that pretty much is very true. So I kind of started to understand. It's kind of like the curse. Even the Instagram founder, the guy who founded Instagram, he said the same thing. It's, you know, you go from one idea to another idea. It's kind of like the curse of the entrepreneur, and that's kind of what stuck with me. But yeah, out of all of these things, what I am trying to achieve is to be the man I want to be. I don't believe I'm the man I want to be right now. I still have a lot to go. People can say you should think of yourself a lot more highly. I do. That's why I say what I'm saying now. The high value man that I will be is going to be the one that sets other people free. And that's what my plan is. You know, I get it. Most of my friends that I have, and I'm not around them every day. And that's not to say that I would have been completely anything, because looking at you now, you're not a computer programmer, bro. You probably have had so many different ideas.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? So it doesn't mean that you had to be a computer programmer to get to where I am. It's just that I knew that, you know, I couldn't afford to pay for people's salaries, but I could make the computer work for me.
But that in itself is the mindset of an entrepreneur. Not everyone's gonna get up and say, you know, I need to make this computer make something that's gonna make revenue or create something for myself. So in hindsight, you should put more respect on your name, if I'm being honest, that you've done things that others will never be able to do.
Bro, if you want to do what I have to do, point blank, you're going to need thousands of pounds, period. You want to jump from idea to idea the way I have with building the software I've done, you're going to need thousands and thousands of pounds. Like my software that the programming languages that I particularly build my ideas with is Ruby and Ruby on Rails. Airbnb is made with Ruby on Rails. GitHub is made with Ruby on Rails. Shopify is made with Ruby on Rails. I'm the guy that makes Shopify, so you can build your web shop. Do you understand what I'm saying? And I guess if people looked at it from that perspective, they probably wouldn't think I'm crazy. Do you know what I mean? Like the outside world looking in. Because how many people would invest, you know, on, let's just say for all the experiences, keep forking out 10 grand minimum? I don't think a lot of people could afford.
Do you know, I'll tell you this famous story that I learned when I started business. There was a millionaire that went bankrupt 3 times.
Yeah.
He went bankrupt. The first time he went bankrupt, all the investors that he took the money from, he got them in a room. Yeah, because they was all like, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, take everything. He claimed bankruptcy. He came in the room, said to them, look, I'm bankrupt. My idea hasn't done what it's meant to do. I can pay you all back your money and double, but you have to invest this much in me. This is the idea and this is where I got. Done a whole business seminar, blah, blah. People were like, no, he's like, there's no other way I can get your money back unless you do this. They were like...
Yeah, fuck you, man. But they did it, bro. Tell me they did it.
Eventually, after a week, all the investors said, we've lost so much money. Let's see if we can get back the money from this idea. He done the idea. He went bankrupt again.
Fuck.
He came again with them. So, you know, there was 12 investors. There are only 6 now. There's only,
He just cut it off. Yeah.
He said, look, I'm not going to lie. I flopped again. But he said... This time, I'm closer than I was before because of this. And he showed them all the statistics and where he went wrong. And he said, it's only because I went wrong in this field why it flopped. But if you give me money, I'll give you shares in my company. So forever you'll be rich. They said, shares in the company. So we don't invest, we're taking shares. So it's a whole different thing now. Yeah. He said, I'll give you this much percent. So he basically gave them all the percentage of it. But this is how much I'm going to take. Yeah, just the lowest percentage. He said, I'm taking 1%, you take all the rest. That's because he needed the idea to go up. The idea went, it bust.
Okay.
It bust. That 1% of that $250 million company turned into so much money for him that he invested in more ideas that he had. Yeah. The point of what I'm trying to say is that he never flopped. He just learned new ways of what to not do. Yeah. That's the whole point of business. Yeah. The whole point of business is to learn what not to do so we don't make that same mistake so we can continue making the right moves. So for me, instantly, I can tell you, I made a lot of mistakes in my last building that I had. Like I was just doing, like I weren't focused on actually getting customers. I was just thinking customers are going to come to me because of who I am and what I do. And my mind wasn't focused on that. Biggest issue that you have is that every day you need to be doing outreach and GDPR. Yeah. GDPR is probably the most important thing on the planet at the moment. Yeah. That's why AI is created, because of GDPR. A lot of people don't know that. Collecting customers' informations, understanding clients. Oh, you bought this on this day, at this time.
Yeah, and you can only hold their data for around 18 months as well.
Yeah, so I know that people buy at this time, on this day, like this. They spend thousands of pounds. Yeah. So now, this must be to do correlation with people's minds. And their brain patterns. Let's send them the information at this time because this is their buying time. And I didn't know that I was getting targeted through marketing.
Right.
Do you know AI was here before we actually knew it?
Yeah, of course it was, bro.
Do you remember when you speak about an idea like, I want to buy some new jeans, man, from Top Man.
Yeah.
Go into your phone and Top Man would pop up.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, Top Man.
Yeah, because they're listening in.
That's AI.
Yeah.
That's artificial intelligence. Do you remember they said smartphones? You know, for years we didn't really understand what they meant by smartphones.
Yeah.
The phone's actually smarter than us, bro.
Yeah, it is.
The phone's smarter than us.
Knows you better than yourself.
Of course it does. It can tell you how much time you go on it, how much time you spend on certain websites.
Yeah.
What's your favorite website? If you go to your screen time, we'll tell you, oh, you spent 6 hours and 32 minutes on Instagram in a week.
Yeah.
You don't even know. You don't even.
Lot of time.
You don't even realize you're spending that much time. The last time I checked how much I spent on Snapchat, I deleted the app because I was like, this is what I'm doing in my life.
Go on, tell us.
Nah, I can't. That's a waste. That's a real waste thing. That's a real waste thing. That's a real waste thing, bro. That's a real waste thing. The day I deleted the app, I'm re-downloaded it now, but I'm more cautious of how I use it.
Yeah.
But at that time, I spent, and no word of a lie, I woke up at 8 o'clock. I never got out of my bed till 1 o'clock. I was just on Snapchat.
Do you know what I find like probably that's like my time now as well on social media as well. I actually do spend quite a lot of time on it when I'm chilled back, especially at night time. I feel like I should be sleeping, but I end up being awake a bit longer. I think it's more or less because the weather is getting a bit more hotter now. It's making me not be able to sleep as early as I can. It's not really a good excuse, but I do find myself on TikTok and Instagram. Reels quite a lot. And I find it really dangerous, to be fair.
100%.
And the reason why I find it dangerous is because you're going through so many different emotions through these videos. One video will show you that, a 10-second video of someone really happy. The next video is 20 seconds and there's just a chaotic scene going on. And then the next video is, a loving scene and then a sad one. So you're going through constant different emotions, right? And it was actually an Instagram reel that I watched that made me realize this, right? Like, it's like we all got bipolar, to be fair.
100%.
That's how I feel sometimes.
It's not sometimes, that is real.
Yeah, it probably is, isn't it?
That is real because what's the effect of short-term content inside of a big mind? What's the effect of short-term content in a big mind? So our minds are more powerful than any of these devices. That's why we're able to create them.
Yeah.
But what happens if you're giving someone 10-second clips? You're making their attention span become smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. And to the point now they actually recognize this. TikTok actually said to me recently, create longer content because we think that people like it more. Why did they say that? They've realized that short-term content is flopping now.
Yeah.
They must know something that I don't. For them to say to me, create longer content and promote it to me and send it to me.
It's because it's become a search engine now, hasn't it? They're taking on the likes of YouTube.
I think
They overtook them. There was some stats that overtook YouTube, but that's the point. It's like the fact that you can search on TikTok now for how to do something. But even that still makes me angry. Why do I say that? Why do I use that word? Because the amount of content that I see, especially from young people, it just seems everyone wants to be an entertainer.
But do you know what that is?
And I don't have a problem with that necessarily, bro. Right? But there's not much content of people that are innovators and entrepreneurs like myself and you. Like there's, you've got a side of where you have entertainment. Then you've also got the fact that people can rent some of your studio space. And then you've got other businesses that you're involved in as well. Like you were showing me that, you're working on prototypes with your aftershave or cologne smells. They smell pretty nice, by the way. But that's the point. Do you know what I mean? I don't see that much.
But they will never promote that side. And I believe that the algorithm that gets sent out to the UK is a specific one. And it's for a reason. It's to emasculate and it's to destroy the minds of young men. Believe me when I say this to you, there's an agenda. And I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I'm a realist, meaning that I live in reality. I don't live in a fake bubble. I live in actual real world. And I've seen that the emasculation of men is not done through men to men, because we'll meet each other right now and be men to men.
Yeah, yeah.
But when we go on social media, they'll try to make us war each other.
Yeah.
That's a feminine thing.
Yeah, no, it's true.
Man's meant to be building networks of money hubs where we can go, not smoke cigars, but we're chilling with millions of pounds on the table of information.
Yeah.
That we're all eating from. Like, yo, I'm going to put this much in your company. Well, you know what? Last week, you only put in 50 grand, mate. I didn't really get a good return from it. Bro, that's rubbish, man. I sent you over to Joe, mate. Joe's a property developer. He said he's going to do, the architect's going to come and do your building in a few weeks. Yeah, but I don't know. These are conversations that we should be having. But we'll never have these conversations if our brain is on short form content, because when it comes to actually learning stuff now, I believe that everybody's finding it difficult to actually process information now.
No, you're right. I think as well, one thing that I've learned as well is, especially when you're on your entrepreneurial journey, is to remove desperation from your thought process, because you'll make a lot of bad relationships through desperation of the need of needing money, of the need of wanting to be in the now moment. Do you understand? Because there's been tough times, bro. Man needs to survive, but you know, you can't stick to deadlines because you underquoted yourself on a project. So this is where we have to start to realize, value what it is based on the skill instead of your need.
But do you believe me that we do that because we've never ever put a proper value on ourselves?
Maybe because we don't know how to.
Because we've never been taught.
Yeah, that's probably it.
So our parents never told us, you're $1 million baby. These are the things that we need to start installing in our children. Your worth is way more than any of what these people could say. Let me tell you something. You're $1 million, because then they'll start putting a price on themselves, meaning that they'll start to hold themselves in a high status. We come from the ends where we don't hold ourselves. We don't even believe that we can even do things. So when we do achieve 2 milestones, it's like we're jumping over the moon, because we feel like, right, I never thought I could do this. I never thought I'd ever be able to own my own
Because
studio.
you have to be realistic.
Yeah, but that's wrong. That's wrong. I don't put myself in boxes. So you see now, like when people say, "Oh, you're not gonna do something," I'm just like, "You're not gonna do that. Don't worry about me."
Yeah.
They're like, so how are you gonna make money? I've already got a plan already in my head, but I can't tell small minds big ideas.
No, but you have to be somewhat delusional. No. I'm being dead serious.
You're not even delusional. It's your reality, because perspective is reality.
True.
So if you think what I'm saying is crazy, it's because you're dumb.
Yeah.
I'm not crazy. I've just got.
I
big
love how you
dreams.
changed the mindset of it, you know. And you know what it is I agree with what you're saying. You understand? Like, I'm on the same side of the fence as you, bro. But trust me when I say, you know, you have to be somewhat delusional. You have to.
No, you've got to be.
But you just changed the word of it.
Yeah,
Do you understand, bro?
yeah.
Like, and that's cool. I'm okay with that, bro. I'm on the same side of the fence as you. But this is the point, because if you're not gonna believe in yourself, no one ain't gonna believe in you, bro.
100%.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
I've told family members, when I first started my podcast, no word of a lie, I've said to people, I'm starting a podcast, oh, that's dead, bro. Where are you going to make money from that? That's dead, bro. Let's go get a 9 to 5. I said,
You can't build wealth from 9 to 5, bro.
do you know what? I looked at man and I said, you know what? You know, I didn't take in what he said straight away, but what happens with negative people around you is eventually they play a role in your mindset later on in that day. You start to reflect on your day. As a man, we always do this time where we have this shutdown time when it's like relaxation, and we start to reflect on our day. If that's one of the words that you heard, that's subconsciously inside of your mind, and now you're thinking, yeah, maybe I should just get a job. Maybe this won't work. That right there is where I eliminate people. I eliminate anybody that tells me that my dreams or what I'm doing is crazy. Because I remember when I had my first event, everyone's like, bro, how's the event going to bring money? Bro, I thought of every avenue of how to make money. And let me tell you something. When you put yourself in a mindset of money, that I want to make money and I'm going to make money, you will find any avenue to make money. I found sponsors.
Yeah.
Who told me about sponsors? One day someone said to me, oh, how much to get a thing there? I said, $250.
Why just say it straight? The number you didn't even research.
250.
Did you research to find that number?
That's how much to get a stall at my event. 250.
So you didn't
Person said, no problem. I'll send you the money right now.
You didn't even do any market research. You just
That was 750 straight away. 3 people sent money straight away to my bank account. I didn't even what that 750 I used to invest into my event. I didn't spend no money for myself.
Bro, I just love the way you just said 250 straight away, bro. So now looking back at it, what do you think you could have charged for that?
Bro, I'm happy with what I did.
No, I know you are. And I'm happy that you are. But I mean, what do you think, it could have been worth? Like
500.
500. Do you think they would have paid that at Baton of Island? I personally think he would have. But do you think there would have been a negotiation?
They would have tried to negotiate. I don't mind. Because now we're going to go down to 350. I still got more than what I expected anyway.
There you go, yeah.
Remember, I never had the idea to make no money from this. It's just somebody said to me, oh, are you doing sponsorships? Because I'll do sponsorships because I'll pay to promote my stuff at the event. I said, how much would you charge? 250. Straight away, bam, in my head.
Yeah.
And then after I was telling someone, should I say 200 to the others? They're like, no, keep it at 250. Everyone paid the 250, bro.
Yeah.
I was like, raw, this is crazy. I didn't even expect this to happen. But this is what I'm trying to say. Opportunities arise when you have the mindset that I'm going to make it. You will find a way to make it, bro. The only time people don't is when you doubt that you'll ever make it. I knew that this event was going to be successful. And then from there, I had ticket sales. But I was selling tickets. But the company, the theatre that I was working with took all the money. I didn't even see any money.
Right, yeah.
But I just said I didn't want the money. All I wanted was the data.
Yeah.
I'm a different type of guy. I'm a different type of beast. I don't care about money. Money's non-existent to me. I need data. Mm-hmm. I'm working for all these companies and the main thing they're telling us is about data. And I'm deep in it. I'm like, why are they on data so much?
Because they want to understand.
And now I've understood. Data is currency.
Yeah.
The new currency is not money. Money is money. I can send money to your account. You don't know if it's real or not. But data is actually real. Your name, your address, and your phone number. Brother, that's more priceless than gold. There's a black market right now where people sell people's data.
Yeah, it's true. It's very true. And it just makes me think even more, man. There's just so much opportunity out there. It's crazy, bro. The amount of, I would love people who are watching this podcast really to open their mind, especially when they're thinking about marketing their business, bro. Because, I'm going to take it back down to print advertising for a second, right? When people advertise on social media or online in general, right? If I pay for an ad on Facebook, even if I never got any customers, I don't blame Facebook for the messaging. I blame my messaging because I know who saw my ad. You see leaflets, people think they just don't work. It's old school. It's rubbish. And this is the point. If people could track these, they'll be able to understand if their messaging is working. They wouldn't blame the leaflets. And this is the same sort of principle that I took towards, my software tracker. Now, why am I talking about this? It's because there's tons of public data out there. I'll give you a prime example. I did an interview with a company called Document Dispatch, which is in Basingstoke. They're a massive print direct mail company. And the sales director, we've got mad respect for each other. The same way as you're showing the respect. He knows I'm an entrepreneur trying. He's seen me with loads of different ideas. The point he said to me was, there was a company that wanted to sell pots and pans and knife sets to restaurants. Okay? The question now becomes is how can they be able to put themselves in front of them? Now, let's actually think about a restaurant. What does every restaurant have and is required to have?
Food certificate.
That's correct. And what is that? Public data. So now he knows every single restaurant that exists, knows where they are, and can send postcards to their house or to their restaurant saying, hey, pots and pans. And these are the things that I've realized as well, especially when it comes to marketing.
That's it.
And this is the key thing. McDonald's, I did a video about this. TV ads, they never really make us pay directly. Facebook ads never really make us pay directly. Not all the time. Some cases they do. But they say that it takes at least several times for people to see you before they make a buying decision. So when you take all of these, insights into fact, that we need to constantly be doing everything to be able to nurture a sell. And the other thing that takes me to this as well is the fact that I want you to imagine you have a chart, 100 people, okay? And this is why I said to you, like, I really want to understand social media content, and I believe you can help me. Now, there's 10% of people that actually know what they want in terms of a service, okay? There's 10% of people that also are thinking about purchasing a specific service. And there's 80% of people that don't know who the fuck you are.
Facts.
Don't know nothing about you. And what new and small businesses need to understand is the 20% that I mentioned, which are people that want to buy now and the people that are thinking to buy now, are very expensive to market to.
Why do you think so?
It's a bidding war. You want to pay for Google ads against those big companies trying to be in front of those people? Well, you ain't going to last long, mate.
They're spending